How we doing, Connor, mate? Hope all is good. Right, let's just have a quick little talk about this this first little block that you've got. So, how we determine sort of like where your starting point is. Okay, so I'm a big fan of using what's called MEV and MRV parameters as a good kind of starting block. So MEV is deemed to be minimum effective volume. So that would be like if you were just looking to maintain, say you're on holiday or something and you just need to not go backwards, just be a minimum amount of sets required. And then MRV is a rough kind of guesstimate to like maximum, what we're going to be pushing towards. It's not necessarily everything doesn't work completely linearly like that, and this is where just a bit of the going through the process and finding out what works for you and where we can push it and where we can bring it back comes into play. So basically we take it just gender, weight class, height, experience, diet, sleep, all these kind of things, and it gives us some rough kind of ballpark guesstimates as to where to go. Okay, I think generally with the hypertrophy estimates are always a tiny bit low, so I've bumped those up a tiny bit. But again, we'll see what works, and we'll see on the frequency as well. So that's just to give you a little bit of an insight. You'll see this in your Dropbox folder if you do want to have a look and kind of see what your rough kind of guidelines are. And then the volumes within those sets, again, comes down to the coach and will... Again, like, so it may be for some people the minimum effective dose is seven sets of squat, but they might be doing 7 sets of 15, whereas others might be doing 7 sets of 8. That's their higher volume kind of stuff. So again, we'll find kind of where that works for you. And then the program itself, so it's going to look quite open at the moment, quite not a huge amount kind of filled in. That's just because over time, once we fill in your custom RPE chart over here on the right hand side for the squat, bench and deadlift, and then if we have a particular optional movement we want to hammer, once those get filled out, that'll auto populate the whole spreadsheet for you and rough weights to be hitting. But for the time being, this first couple of weeks is just going to be, again, just information gathering, okay? Me just trying to get as much out of you as I can, get some footage in, so then I can start trimming off certain exercises and plugging in others, all right? So I've got 4 days in there for you at the moment. Again, over time, if we need to trim a day off, or you feel like you can add a day, that can be done. And then everything's done on kind of a priority principle on start at the top. So say if you're pushed for time and you don't think you can make the whole session, start at the top and make your way down. Things get less and less important the further down you go. All right. Everything's pretty straightforward in terms of how things are kind of laid out. I'm not expecting you to kind of nail these RPEs first time through. You really won't, particularly at the low end, like the 6s and 7s. They can be really difficult to gauge, but give it a go. Film all of these main movements as best you can. Okay, so if you've got, so say like the following, you've got 5 sets of squats. Okay, I don't need to see 5 videos because then when you squat again, that then becomes 9 videos. Okay, so they start adding up and adding up. But it's a case of just when you're going for those top sets in particular, get those on film and get those over to me. If you can get things from a side angle as best as possible, okay, so looking directly in at the side for the squat, bench and deadlift, that's the same. Okay, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass sometimes if you're in a busy gym propping up the cameras and stuff, but one of the best things to do is just get one of those little gorilla kind of tripod things that you can kind of wrap around. They're like 99p now. That'll help you out a lot. The more from the side it is, the better chance I've got of giving a realistic assessment of what's going on. So there'll be a couple of things kind of left out here, so sort of like deadlift weakness, bench weakness and stuff there in there, because over time what is deemed to be your weakness will kind of pick apart a bit more, and that can be filled in, and we can hammer some of those movements a bit more going forward. If there's any movements in there you're not sure of, you've never done before, let me know and I'll kind of talk through them with you. A lot of the times with those kind of things is it's going to be what you think it is, but again, just a quick Google and a quick YouTube search, because the main movements you'll be okay with. It's just going to be the other ones that, so say like a lying leg raise, for example. It's one of those, you can only coach a lying leg raise so much, so just kind of just do as much as you can, do the best you can with it. And then again, once the main movements start coming in, that's where I can really start giving us some points to work with, start drawing some movements back, like stripping them down to build up to, and then others we might want to push on further. So fill in the weight as you go. So when you hit your 6 at what you feel like is a 6, fill it in, fill it in. On the WhatsApp, drip feed the videos into me as best you can, okay, rather than just in one massive long bulk, because it gives me a chance to kind of just, as they're going, I can give you some immediate, if there's immediate feedback that I can give you for your next session, I can do that then. And if it's undershot or overshot or any notes that you feel, just attach those to the video itself, put what weight was on the bar, what day it was, and if you have any notes about it. So again, day 1, if you go, right, I did 6 reps of the 6, but realistically it probably felt more like a 7 or an 8, then just pop that down again, just so I know that's what you're thinking, that's your subjective feedback, and then I can give my objective feedback and have a look at and kind of see how the bar's moving and stuff like that. Fill in the weights as you go. Anything that has a dash in the RPE is just max effort. Go as heavy as you can. Try your best. Just try not to fail anything. And then at the end of a session, as soon as you're done, there'll be a drop down here. You just click on that, and that's rated 1 to 10. It gives a little brief description of what those numbers mean. And then from there, like I said, it's just a case of me just getting an idea of how the sessions are feeling you come the end of them, okay? They should really be like 5s, 4s, 5s, really. Nothing drastically over that. But when they start creeping up to 6s, 7s, and 8s, we'll see whether the numbers match up to a warranted... with the warranted fatigue. If they're not matching up, then we know we're basically over pushing it. But if the numbers are going up alongside the fatigue, then we know that's linear and we need to be taping them off. And then the only other thing is your dashboard, which again, as it stands at the moment, is fairly it's not very fleshed out. Over weeks, as we start putting things in there, it's more of a chance for me just to kind of quickly look on it and kind of see, okay, right, his session RPE's started going up to 8 all of a sudden. I wonder what's going on there. Let's have a look back. Let's see if we've increased his volume. Let's have a look at where the intensity was, and then work backwards. So it's just more of a snapshot to be able to have a look at. But that's everything in a nutshell, mate. Like I said, give everything a shot. Don't change anything for this week. Just do what you'd normally do. Okay, don't try and force anything, or don't try and be overly just go in there and do what you need to. I need to see you under normal conditions, so I know what is going to be normal on a day-to-day, all right? If you try and really overwork everything and perfect everything, you don't get to see the weaknesses and stuff that I need to, okay? So just go in. Just imagine someone, as you walk through the door, is giving you your program for this week. Get the footage in, and then we'll go from there, mate, all right? Any questions or anything you're not sure of, let me know, and we'll get sorted with that, mate, straight away.